Trinity Baker, and today I'd like to talk to you all about gun control and why the policies in place today need a change to fit a more modern world with modern technologies. According to Lisa Desjardins, a journalist for PBS, 110 bills containing the word gun have been introduced since the Congress convened in January 2019. According to the Capitol's official record-keeping website, congress.gov, only one became law, and it was not focused on the gun debate. It was the spending bill that ended the partial government shutdown in January of 2019. That article was written in August of 2019. How is it that our elected officials were only able to pass one bill that had the word gun in it? It is because our senators and House representatives could not see past their own biases and come together to create common sense laws that would benefit all of the United States citizens. Moving along, as many of you already know, guns are something that are a part of our everyday lives. Even if you don't own a gun, it is likely that a person near you does. Did you know that there are more guns in the United States than there are people? According to the National Interest, a national security publication, there are over 393 million firearms in the United States. And this number only includes civilian-owned firearms, meaning it doesn't count firearms in possession by the military, government agencies, or by law enforcement. While according to the Worldometer, there are about 331 million people in the United States as of today. That is 62 million more guns in the United States than there are citizens. So why does it matter if that person near you has a gun? Well, you would hope that that person has completed training or that they've gone through an extensive background check to be able to carry that gun. But that is not always the case. According to The Trace, a nonpartisan journalism outlet, 4 out of 10 self-defense handgun owners have received no formal firearms training. And according to Lois Beckett at The Guardian, just 22% of current gun owners who acquired a firearm within the past 2 years did so without a background check. While it may seem that these numbers are small and don't account for that many people, if you actually total it up, that is millions of people, some not even accounted for because of the systemic inaccuracies in how those numbers are calculated. This leads me to my next point, which is that we need to change the current policies in order to better serve the public. Colton Jones, one of our peers, said, and I quote, "My future will be at stake when illegally purchased weapons will be at the hands of criminals and wipe out more innocent lives. It will happen, but we sure need to adjust the Second Amendment to fit more of today's modern world and politics, so we will have fewer shootings and more agreements to gun control legislation." This is exactly what should be done. Fix policies without axing the Second Amendment to make the public safer. It was also found by R.J. Reinhardt with Gallup that around 61% of Americans favor stricter laws on the sale of firearms. This is in direct conflict with Oklahoma's current policy, found by Giffords Law Center to Prevent Gun Violence, that Oklahoma does not require private sellers who are not licensed dealers, to initiate a background check when transferring a firearm. This means that if a gun were to be sold in a private selling, anybody, even those who have a record, would be able to buy a gun, and that should not be allowed. Furthermore, Giffords also found that the current FBI NICS, which is the National Institute Criminal Background Check System, is not kept up to date on which citizens are deemed mentally unstable and should not be able to buy a gun. This means that even if someone had a background check to be able to purchase a gun when they shouldn't, the background check would not have properly been able to see their record because of the lack of updates from individual states because of lax laws not requiring them to update their medical records and things that they send into the NICS. You may say, but Trinity, isn't this a privacy issue? No, because according to Giffords once more, some states have cited a concern for privacy as a reason that records have not been submitted to NICS. But the mental health records submitted to NICS only identify the individuals through names, birth dates, and similar data, and include no clinical information. So how can we come together to change policies? Well, we can call Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt and ask him to take a stand against the gun show loophole and to uphold common sense gun laws. To be clear, these laws do not take away your Second Amendment right. Instead, they make it safer for you and others to carry by making everyone have a universal background check to prevent violent or mentally ill people from obtaining a gun. We can avoid purchasing a gun through private sellers like at gun shows, and go through the proper channels so that it will call attention to the problems at hand, and hopefully our elected officials will do something to change the policies currently in place. In conclusion, the policies need to be changed because 1, the majority of Americans believe there should be stricter gun laws without striking down the amendment, like said earlier by R.J. Reinhardt. It will help to avoid the violent and mentally ill from obtaining a gun. We will be able to change the policies by urging our current elected official to do something about it and vote for those who will take an active stance on the issue. And lastly, until we find some way to fix policies, Gifford says that 100 Americans will die every day from gun violence. So, thank you for taking the time to listen, and I hope you have a good day.